I'll be reading Jake O'Shaughnessy. Romper, stomper, bomper, boo. Tell me, do. Magic mirror, did all my friends today have fun at play? Today I see Henry, Jameson, Barrow, Dave, Kelly, and Tim. Jake O'Shaughnessy. Written by Stephen Cosgrove, illustrated by Robin James. The wind blows free in Ireland. It whistles in from the ocean and soars over the Emerald Isle. Birds of all sorts from all over the world flock there to take advantage of the winging winds. There are swallows, eagles, owls, and a whole lot of seagulls. 1,000 or more birds sit on the edge of the cliffs that overlook the Atlantic Ocean. They wait for the right breeze to send them soaring high in the sky with no effort whatsoever. The seagulls, like the rest of the birds, would constantly take wing just for the fun of flying. All of the seagulls, that is, except for a strange-looking green Irish seagull by the name of Jake O'Shaughnessy. Now, it wasn't that Jake didn't want to fly. Oh, how he wanted to, but he didn't believe he could fly, and because he didn't believe, he couldn't. Jake would flap his wings and try desperately to catch a breeze. As he would begin to lift from the ground, flapping his wings furiously, he would think, I don't think I can fly. In fact, I can't. With that, he would fall to the ground with a heavy crash, usually losing 8 to 10 feathers for his efforts. Jake O'Shaughnessy was not a seagull to give up easily. He tried every trick there was in the seagull flying manual, but nothing would work. Once, out of desperation, Jake grabbed hold of the tail of a kite and soared over 100 feet in the air. Then, when the kite reached the end of its string, Jake let go. For a moment, it looked as if he might make it. He was flapping his wings magnificently, but then, as always, Jake began thinking he couldn't fly. He stopped flapping his wings, and down he fell, twisting and turning, with feathers floating gently behind him in the ocean below. With all his falling and jumping off cliffs, Jake was becoming an absolute menace in the sky. All the birds would constantly look this way and that in fear of being hit by a falling green seagull. In desperation, the birds of Ireland held a secret meeting. We have to do something about Jake, shouted the swallows. Sure, croaked the crows, but what can we do? They thought and thought. Finally, a wise old owl stepped forward and said, possibly I could teach Jake O'Shaughnessy the secret of the cliffs of County Court. They stopped and gazed at the cliffs above them. Solemnly they agreed that the secret held the only hope of Jake learning to fly. While the other birds cheered him on, the wise old owl flew off to find Jake. Now, finding Jake had never been a difficult task for any of the birds of Ireland. All they would have to do is look in the water at the base of the cliff, and there Jake would be, floundering in the sea. Today was no exception. The old wise owl waited patiently on the beach for Jake to swim ashore. Jake, said the owl, do you really want to learn to fly? Jake thought for a moment and then answered quickly, oh yes, I am tired of falling, and I've had 5 colds already this year from swimming in that cold ocean. What I'm about to tell you, said the owl, is the location of the secret of the cliffs of County Court. With that secret, you can learn to fly. The owl solemnly turned and pointed to the top of the cliff towering above them. The secret, Jake, is at the top. When you find it, you will never have a problem flying again. Jake took a long look up the cliff. But how will I get all the way up there, he asked. I can barely fly downwards, so how could I possibly fly up? You must do that yourself, said the owl, who flew off to join the other feathered spectators awaiting at the top of the cliff. Jake took a couple of deep breaths of fresh air. He gulped and once again began flapping his wings in hopes of flying to the top. His flapping came to a sudden stop when he once again thought, oh, I don't believe I can do it. And with that, he fell back with a clunk to the beach below. I'll never get to the top by flying because I know I can't fly, but I know how to get to the top without flying. So Jake scurried around looking for all the things that would set his plan in motion. Jake found a great length of old vine hanging from the rocks. Then he searched at the beach until he found an old fish hook. Carefully he lashed it to the end of the vine rope, and finally, with the help of 2 starfish he strapped to his feet, he was ready to climb the cliffs. Jake carefully threw the fish hook high in the rocks, and when it was secure, he began pulling himself up. With the starfish on his feet, he had excellent traction. Step by step, he came closer to the secret of the cliffs of the county court. High above him and all around him, he could hear his cheering section urging him upward and onward. Finally, after many hours of hard climbing, Jake O'Shaughnessy reached the top of the cliffs of County Court. His friends shouted and cheered as Jake stood there, panting and puffing after his long journey. "I'm at the top," puffed Jake, "but where is the secret?" The birds shouted in unison. "It's there, written upon the rock." Jake, for the first time, noticed a large boulder right before him. Carved on the rock was a message. "If you find you're not believing in everything you do, just remember lots of trying will bring confidence to you." Jake thought, "I wonder if that could be my problem. Maybe I can fly if I have the confidence in what I'm doing. That's it. I only need to believe in myself, and then I can learn to fly." Carefully, Jake unfolded his wings, flapped them once or twice, and found the confidence to bolster his courage. "I know I can do it. I know I can fly. I really and truly believe in myself." With that, his wings began to pound, and Jake, as gracefully as any other Irish bird, lifted from the ground and flew high in the sky. Jake O'Shaughnessy was totally confident now. He believed in himself because he believed he could fly. Jake was so happy he felt he could fly without falling for the rest of his life. So if you're deep in trouble and you don't believe in what you do, just remember Jake O'Shaughnessy and confidence will come to you. This story would have ended happily except for one small problem. Jake O'Shaughnessy never learned how to land. The end.